Welcome back to Southwest Yard and Garden. I'm Curtis Smith. I'm in the greenhouse at Osuna Nursery, and it's summer. People think of greenhouses as being for the winter, but the summer is an excellent time in a greenhouse too, because they've got fans that pull the air out of the greenhouse, drawing it in through wet pads, so you get evaporative cooling, so it cools the environment for the plants, which is also nice for us. So a greenhouse is a good place to be in the summer. As we look, we see a lot of plants growing in here, some palm trees. Some of these would do well in a home, but a greenhouse will give them a chance to recover from the rough environment in a home. Here we've got some kalanchoe, or some people say kalanchoe. Very bright flowering plants. They do better in a greenhouse than in a home, but they'll grow well in a home as well. Hanging baskets with geranium. It's a beautiful plant, easy to grow, as long as we don't let them dry out. And a hanging basket's going to tend to dry fairly rapidly. And as we walk through, we see begonias, very bright colors, very attractive. More geraniums. These are easy plants to grow, but especially in a greenhouse. Here's a cyclamen. That one really is better where you've got a cool environment. So the cool greenhouse, of all places, a greenhouse being cool, is a good place to grow it. As we walk through, we see the Hoya, which is an interesting plant related to milkweed, but an interesting climbing, vining, flowering plant. It grows well in a house, but it will do well in the greenhouse as well. Very beautiful hanging basket, tuberous begonia. We see some bird's nest ferns here. They're just looking very nice. Oh, and I missed the African violets. Beautiful plants, good house plants, but also excellent plants in a greenhouse, and plants that you can grow and have fun with. Some little tiny palm trees. Behind them, Norfolk Island pines. People are used to that. They're going to grow a lot better in the greenhouse than they are in your house. Look at this. Make you think you're in Hawaii. And a greenhouse is a place where you can have kind of a Hawaiian type setting. This is hibiscus, one of the tropical hibiscus. We've got some that are hardy enough to grow out of doors from Albuquerque and south. But this one would not survive out of doors during the winter. It needs to be in a greenhouse, and it's a beautiful exotic plant. See a lot of ivies and some Staghorn Fern. This is a plant that a lot of people wouldn't recognize as a fern. And down here is another kind of fern, the squirrel's foot fern, growing very beautiful. Another Staghorn Fern showing something a lot of people ask about. This one has a brown patch on the back of the leaf. These are the spores. It's not a damage or a problem to the plant, just making spores. These spores will fly and land on a nice moist place here in the greenhouse. They'll start growing, and more Staghorn Ferns can be grown from this. We see the aglaonemas. These are in a very shady place underneath the hanging baskets. These are plants that like the shade, and so the greenhouse can provide a lot of environments. Up high, bright locations, down low, a little bit darker. And here's one of my favorites, the fragrant, very fragrant geranium. So I crush it, and smell that peppermint smell on this particular one. So it's a very beautiful plant. You can grow it out of doors, you can grow it in the house, but you can also grow it in the greenhouse. And so it adds a lot to a greenhouse. We've got the Ficus Benjamina, and across the way, a different ficus, members of the fig family, but this has a different leaf. It's one that you probably won't see except in a greenhouse. As we walk through, we see the spider plants. We see this Asparagus Fern, which is truly an asparagus. It's called a fern because of its lacy look. You see the dragon tree Dracaena, another plant to add a very elegant appearance to a greenhouse. And I see a gardenia coming up. I like gardenias. Oh, that's beautiful. They're hard to grow in New Mexico, especially outside, but they're excellent in the greenhouse. Now we've made it back to the pads. Here we've got the cold air being drawn into the greenhouse. And it's cool here. This is a good place to set a table, to have some tea, coffee, invite the friends over, just to come and relax in the middle of a hot summer day next to the air conditioning pads. And so you can have a cool place in a tropical place. And so a greenhouse is a very good environment. When we think of tropics, we don't often remember to think of the succulents. Some of the tropics are very hot. We've got some members of the poinsettia family, the spurges. This is pencil cactus, but it's really a euphorbia. This is another euphorbia back here. It looks like a cactus. It's not truly a cactus, but they do well in here. We've got another asparagus fern that looks different, kind of like a bonsai. This is a beautiful plant, excellent. And we see the fishtail palm with the ragged leaves, a good plant to have. Nice and attractive, and gives a different, very tropical, exotic appearance to the greenhouse. And here are the orchids. Spectacular, beautiful plants. These are what you think of in a greenhouse, and you should have them in a greenhouse. Now, they'll grow in your house too. But these are excellent plants if you've got your own home greenhouse, your nice cool place in the summer, the greenhouse. And then here's some plants that you'll find growing with them, not relatives, but relatives of pineapples. These are bromeliads, very colorful. You can have these too, even in New Mexico. A greenhouse is the way to do this, and a greenhouse isn't a hot place in the summer, it's a cool place.